Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2013. After a 19-hour operation that was technologically unprecedented and which cost $800 million, the Costa Concordia cruise ship has been rotated off the island of Giglio and is now upright. The ship is resting on concrete pillars that were embedded in the seafloor. The technical name of the operation is called parbuckling. It's been done before for much smaller ships, but this is the first time it's ever been done for such a large ship. The damage to the port side of the ship, which was underwater, is extensive. The ship owners are going to have to adjust that and make the ship seaworthy until next year, when it's going to be towed to a scrap heap where it's going to be taken apart for salvage. The presence of the reinsurance and insurance industry was profound at the event, and there was a great sigh of relief because the cost would have been much higher had the ship had to be dismembered in the marine sanctuary where it currently is sitting. So this is an amazing achievement. The president of Italy phoned the chief engineer to congratulate him. It really is something. You should look at some of the pictures on Google. Some more details are emerging about the merger of the Jubilee syndicate with the ANV syndicate in London. ANV is backed by the Ontario's Teachers Union, and of course Jubilee is backed by Pat Ryan, the former founder of Aon. It seems that the ANV syndicate is going to own 80% of the merged entity. 20% is going to be owned by Ryan Specialty Group. This is assuming the deal receives the approvals. Mr. Ryan is going to continue to provide personal financial support to Jubilee Syndicate 5820, and Ryan Specialty Group is going to continue to funnel business in as a commercial broker. SCORE is reporting that that series of hailstorms that raked Germany in July could result in insured damages of about 1.3 billion US. SCORE says that its share, after retrocession and reinstatements, is going to be about 66 million US. They say that the summer hailstorms in Germany appear to be the most expensive German hail losses in years, surpassing even a 1984 Munich storm that cost the industry about €1 billion on an inflation-adjusted basis. Third Point Re, which filed for an IPO several weeks ago, was told by the Securities and Exchange Commission that it needs to generate some more information about how it earned its investment income. In letters made public yesterday, the SEC told Third Point Re that they need to break down how it achieved $136 million of investment return in 2012. The investments, of course, are managed by the hedge fund manager Dan Loeb, who is the founder of the company. Preposterously, the SEC also admonished Third Point for its use of subjective language in describing CEO John Berger as one of the leading reinsurance executives. Well, from this person's perspective, i.e. me, if John Berger is not a leading reinsurance executive, then no one is. Meanwhile, in central Japan, in Kyoto, crews are cleaning up after Typhoon Man-yi ended up dumping an unprecedented amount of rainfall on Kyoto, about 3 inches per hour. As a preventive step, workers at the crippled Fukushima Dai-ichi nuclear plant about 155 miles northeast of Tokyo were pumping out rainwater that was pooling around hundreds of storage tanks that of course contains radioactive water that comes off the core. The rainwater is thought not to be tainted with radiation. Hopefully they're going to check that. Here's an interesting bit of news. Iran has confirmed that the new Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has exchanged letters with President Obama, in what might be a further signal that the new Iranian president might have ended up creating a chance for intensified diplomacy. The Americans and the Iranians have had no diplomatic relations since 1979, with the seizure of 52 diplomatic personnel in the American embassy. The communications are occurring through the Swiss embassy in Tehran. Of course, next week, both leaders are going to be within about 100 yards of each other at the opening of the United Nations General Assembly. Last week, when we were in southern France at Monte Carlo, there was a murder featured on French television when a French jewelry owner shot and killed a thief who had come into the store. His accomplice got away. The thief that was killed was a teenage robber. He was left dead in the street. That jeweler has now been charged with manslaughter by the authorities, and it's created an uproar amongst jewelers in France. Jewelers in southern France say they're being targeted as never before and lack the resources to protect themselves. France has seen a spate of high-profile jewelry thefts recently. A single gunman in Cannes, right next to Nice, made off with $136 million worth of jewelry this summer. That was followed by another armed robbery later in the same city. On September 9th in Paris, thieves drove an SUV into a jewelry store and grabbed about $3 million worth of loot. So there is a bit of an epidemic going on here. There are a number of theories about this, none of which I'm really at liberty to discuss. Well, if you're thinking about driving in Africa, we always mention African traffic accidents, unfortunately, but the Russian government says that it's sending an airplane loaded with medical equipment to bring back the country's top judge, Vashlev Lebedev. He's in Ghana, where he's recovering from a car accident. Mr. Lebedev is being treated at a military hospital in the Ghanaian capital of Accra. He's apparently in satisfactory condition. His convoy was traveling near the town of Sito in the southeastern Volta region of the country on September 16th when a truck suddenly veered into his lane. The top judge, the Supreme Court Chief Justice of Russia, was in Ghana to address a meeting of the Ghana Bar Association in the city of Ho, about 100 miles from Accra. What he was doing there is beyond me. Traffic accidents are common in Ghana due to the poor condition of its roads and bad driving. So if this happens to an armed convoy with the Chief Justice of the Russian court, imagine what can happen to you. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.